it's not into the regular class curriculum. And I'm not going to teach the same thing, obviously. I can get further. And then it's going to get harder and harder if you want, but then I'm going to teach you everything I know. So if you want to keep following me around. And then what I can also do is, this is really informal, and Leo probably wouldn't let me do this. But if you guys, like at the end, right, if you want to go to a finance field, I'm familiar with how like a finance resume looks, and then I can really prop up your interview skills. I know the business program has like interviewing, but interviewing for like finance and bigger corporations is much harder. So I can also train you guys on that as well. And if I have a break, I might as well do something. You can come join me, it's free. So I'm not going to charge for it. It's not like the class we're offering. That's why I'm taking it easy today. So, okay. So what was that? Okay. So did you guys read a Seeking Alpha article?
Yes.
Okay. And did you actually understand it?
Yes, but I don't know why. Well, no, I don't know what this is.
Oh, okay.
Not iPad, another one.
Right. So this is what we can do also, right? When we keep buying stocks and keep buying different things, I'm going to try to make you buy different industries. So when you read articles on different industries, I'll explain them to you and you'll understand why. So what do you guys know so far? You know a little bit about corn, agricultural products, why they move. You know about gold, silver, just so you know. Gold, silver, platinum, all the metals that you go into making jewelry, right? They follow about the same trend. But gold and silver are the most popular, right? And then you know a little bit about technology companies, and we'll get a little bit more into like healthcare companies. And you guys know already a little bit about consumer retail, right? Like retail companies, clothing stores, right? So, and I'll actually explain this too. So then you'll, as we cover more, you'll get that, and then I'll teach like whatever new stuff. But anyways, let's just do this Midori article really quick too. So if you give me just 10 seconds to read it. Okay. Oh, okay. Cool. So some of the Seeking Alpha articles are actually pretty easy. Some of them are very complicated, right? Because the people who write these articles, it can range from, it can either be high school student, right, investing in stock, or it could be CEO of, like JP Morgan Asset Management, right? So it could be like a huge, because there's professional people there. And even if it's a high school student writing, it's usually a college student. That kid is usually really pretty smart, right? And they usually know that material pretty well. So, like for example, I covered technology for a while when I was doing investment banking. So I knew more about the technology industry than other industries. So, like I was going to write an article, but I had life. And I was trying to have fun. So, cool. Do you know about Midori? I know this is off topic, but do you know about Jeremy Lin, by the way? Do you know the basketball player? He's Taiwanese and he's Asian. He plays basketball, NBA. No? Okay.
No.
So recently, Jeremy Lin, he plays on the New York Knicks, which is the NBA for the Knicks team, for the New York team. And so he's Asian. There's not a lot of Asian basketball players, right? And he's in the NBA. So he's actually been playing very well. So everybody is like showing up, China, Taiwan, everywhere. They're like, okay, forget about president or anything. We have to watch this Asian kid play. And he went to Harvard too. So it's just, it's kind of important. Well, I just mention it because this is like a little bit of news and stuff. So even though this is for a basketball company, right? You might be able to, like, let's say you see a company sponsor like Jeremy Lin, maybe you can invest in it. Just giving you some ideas and just to understand what's going on in the world. It's just some fun stuff. But anyways, so these are where the articles are from, right? High school student, CEO of JP Morgan, whatever. So let's actually try to read it. So if you look at Midori's article, this article is actually pretty easy, or pretty simple. And not all of them are super hard, by the way.
Yeah.
A lot of them are actually pretty okay, so you can start like reading more. And
What is ISAPRI?
okay.
This?
Okay, yeah. So let's, I actually don't even know what it is because I'm not following technology anymore. But let's just read this, right? So you know that, so do you guys know the iPad? You know the iPad, right? Okay, so the iPad is like this thing, and it does like 9,000 things. It's like a computer you can carry. You can read books, you can play games on it, Angry Birds, or anything, right? But then, so iPad, all this, they have competitors too, right? Amazon has something called, your company, it's called a Kindle. But it's mainly for, I think, reading, I think. I don't have a Kindle, so. You can mainly read a lot of books there. So this is the thing. If you research companies, I can teach you more about the industry too. So you just get learn more shit. Doesn't matter. Or you can just leave me. I don't really care. And so Amazon Kindle, right? So that's one of their competitors, and there's also a lot of other ones, right? If you see over here, Barnes and Nobles also has a Nook. You don't need to memorize this. This is just the name of the product. Okay, it's called a Nook. Everybody knows Barnes and Nobles. So Barnes and Nobles, they sell books, and the business is not really doing well lately because everybody's using like technology. So they have these old books, like from back in 2000. Right? You get my meaning. And also another one over here, right? Galaxy Tab, Samsung. Right? So just so you know, right? Some of these companies, like Samsung, right? They make phones sometimes, right? But you have to understand that even if a company makes phones primarily, they might also compete in the business. So when you look at a company and the competitors, right? You want to look here, right? For the product. So iPad, and these are all like the iPad basically. You can read and you can do like 9,000. You can change the time, add music, whatever. A lot of them make you write notes. So you can take a pen and you just take it. It's like a notebook, but it's digital. So, okay, so basically what this article says is, let's interpret it, all right? Amazon steals 14% tablet market share in Q4. So what does Q4 mean? Fourth quarter, okay? So this is something you'll probably see often. So you can, memorize terms or whatever, but there's 1Q, 2Q, 3Q, 4Q. So, you need a pen?
Oh, it's okay, thank you.
Cool. So, I know you can't see this, but in 1 year there's 4 quarters, right? So you can think about it like this, right? Quarter is 4, right? So 1 year has 12 months, right? So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So first quarter means January, February, March, right? And then April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, right? Just some bullshit. You don't need to memorize it, but you can see, right? Every 3 months is a quarter. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, right? Do you guys understand how I got that? So 1 year has 12 months. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. So that's why this is first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. It's very easy to you can just. So when somebody says fourth quarter, what do they mean? October, November, December, right? I'm going to ask you a question. What's second quarter? What do you think second quarter? And don't look up. Think about it. Second quarter.
April to June.
Right. Yeah. So you don't have to memorize it. You can just think about it. It's not something you need to memorize. So this is just general time period, right? A lot of people will talk about quarter. So I actually wanted to cover more research material on the companies, but it's actually more important that you understand this first. Okay, so what this article says is that, so I supply, right? What do you think I supply is? iPad, I supply, right? It's probably from Apple. Does that make sense? Right?
New products?
Yeah, it's probably a new product. You can actually guess because, so Apple is the only company I know that has the I and something else. I think if some other company took that, they can't do the business. I mean, it's like patent or something, right? So it's probably, so iSupply came up. So it's a new product, right? So it says, we've known the fire, blah, blah, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. iSupply. According to a research firm, Apple's market share in the table arena dropped from 64% to 57% in Q4. So another thing we can talk about is market share. We mentioned this in Laura's class, right? It's pretty easy. Midori, if you have Coke, you probably have 50% market share. Make sense? Of the total market, you own 50% of the customers. That's just an estimate bullshit, right? And Pepsi probably owns 50%. Now, there's probably a lot of small companies in there, but they probably don't really matter too much. You know, they have something like right there. Right? So that's what market share means. Percent. Think about everything in finance, break apart the word. Don't try to memorize stuff. If you memorize stuff, you'll drive yourself crazy, and it's not worth learning anything. Right? Market, boom. Share. When you think of share, what do you think of shares as? Stock, right? Remember we talked about stock shares? What's a stock? It's a piece of a company, right? So share is like 1/4, 1/2, whatever. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay, so it would seem as though the 200 price tag, so this is just telling you that the Kindle Fire was $200. So Amazon, this is your product, right? Was temptation enough for tablet buyers, but according to research, Apple customers were more swayed from the iPad by the iPhone 4S than they were the Fire. So what does that mean? That just means that people like Apple better, right? Swayed means that you persuade someone or you're trying to pull them away. Swayed. Right? So that means people still like these guys better. That makes sense. Because it's newer, it's sexier, your friends might like it, blah, blah, blah. Right? So, okay, all this is really great, right? But the point of reading this article is to know the title. So what does it say? Amazon steals 14% table market share in Q4. Right? So that means in the fourth quarter, these 3 months, October, November, December, Amazon stole more market share. So they stole 14% more. Steal means like stealing. So this is 64%, something like that, right? So they stole more market share. That's a good thing for your company, right? But now think about this. When you look at your stock, right? So what do you have in Amazon? You actually have a short position. Remember what short is? Short means it's going down, right? Now, you made money for now because Amazon might not be doing well because it's still like people don't do online retailing, but that might be kind of dangerous. Does that make sense? So you might want to look at the graph of the company, like go to Amazon and look at the graph or something. Let's say the graph looks like this, right? You might actually want to sell it right now while you made a little bit of money and buy something else. Because if there's a lot of like good news going around it, they keep releasing new products. You know, you might suffer from shorting. So part of portfolio too, right, is even if you want to take a long position into the future, you can't keep holding on to it all the time. You have to be very careful. Honestly, like so ideally what I wanted to do, obviously we don't have enough time, is that every week you guys would have new positions. Maybe like 8 or 10 ideas, and you pick 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Right? Put your money to work, and actually like maybe every day, if you see opportunity, buy it then. Don't wait for the end of the week. Right? It's not about like, oh, okay, so I'll just buy it on Sunday. Right? You have to buy at the right time. Right? So, yeah. Great, awesome. So let's look at one of Yuji's companies. So you have an article, right? So what company is this from?
Teva.
Teva.